When you look at the crowds today, you have maybe 5,000–6,000 people here. On the streets yesterday, 1 million people, 1 million Iranians in the street for the Ayatollah Khomeini. Does that not give you concern? Does that not make you afraid?
Because they are afraid, yeah, that's right. And most of the people don't say anything because they are afraid. And they are in silence, you know, they don't say anything.
Is this the silent majority of Iran out here now?
Yes, that's right.
Do you want the Shah to return?
Yes, Shah, return to the country.
Why do you want the Shah? Why does she want the Shah?
ما شاه میخوایم ما بیچاره این
شادی کشتنش حلاله کجای قرآن گفته
47 years we've been bleeding in the dark, under the shadow of the Islamic regime, with a stone-cold heart. They silenced our voices, they turned off our light. 58 days without internet, but we still fought the night. Our children took the streets, they raised their empty hands, and the world looked away. Do you understand? Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you that's all it took. Mothers and fathers and sons, did you even look? We stand with Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, our hope and voice. Millions behind him marching, he is our only choice. He only fights for freedom, democracy and human rights. But you mock him in your chambers while he fights for our lives, to pull us out of this darkness, this century-long night, while you sign deals with our killers and call it diplomatic right. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? They hang 60-40 souls one by one, hanged within 4 months by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? What happened to you, Europe? What made you so cold? What turned your heart to stone while our story went untold? Is oil worth more than blood? Is silence worth the shame? Because while you negotiate with murderers, we are dying, calling your name. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? We are still here, we are still strong. Do you know Europe? How much longer? How much longer? How long? Do you know Europe?
To all of our friends around the world, under the yoke of the Islamic Republic, Iran is identified in your minds with terrorism, extremism, and poverty. The real Iran is a different Iran, a beautiful, peace-loving, and flourishing Iran. It is the Iran that existed before the Islamic Republic, and it is the Iran that will rise again from its ashes the day the Islamic Republic falls. So let me be clear about how a free Iran will act towards its neighbors and the world after the fall of this regime. In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. Support for terrorist groups will cease immediately. A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism. Iran will act as a friend and a stabilizing force in the region, and it will be a responsible partner in global security. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored. The State of Israel will be recognized immediately. We will pursue the expansion of the Abraham Accords into the Cyrus Accords, bringing together a free Iran, Israel, and the Arab world. A new chapter will begin, grounded in mutual recognition, sovereignty, and national interest. In energy, Iran holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. A free Iran will become a reliable energy supplier to the free world. Policymaking will be transparent. Iran's actions will be responsible. Prices will be predictable. In transparency and governance, Iran will adopt and enforce international standards. Money laundering will be confronted. Organized corruption will be dismantled. Public institutions will answer to the people. In the economy, Iran is one of the world's last great untapped markets. Our population is educated, modern, with a diaspora that connects it to the four corners of the world. A democratic Iran will open its economy to trade, investment, and innovation, and Iran will seek to invest in the world. Opportunity will replace isolation. This is not an abstract vision. It is a practical one, grounded in national interest, stability, and cooperation. To achieve this, now is the time to stand with the Iranian people. The fall of the Islamic Republic and the establishment of a secular, democratic government in Iran will not only restore dignity to my people, it will benefit the region and the world. A free Iran will be a force for peace, for prosperity, and for partnership.
وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه. روبروم یه واژه، یه هدف به نام انتقامه، پشت سرم دعای مادر و تو دستم تفنگ بابامه. رو زبونم اسم شاه، بگین عشق بی انتهاست، هر جا اسم ایران اومد اونجا صدای بچه رضاست. فردا می نویسن تو کتاب قصه دیمار، بگو با تیر جنگی کشتن بچه های بیگناه رو. بگو از بخت مادرها شیر زنا و دخترامون، بگو تنها شهید شدیم تا تنها نمونه شامون. وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست، همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما، سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه. وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست، همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما، سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه. وقتی واسه غم نی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست، همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما، سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه.
سلام من به تو یار قدیمی، منم همون هوادار قدیم.
سید سلام، چطوری مرد کلی کتلت شدین دایی بدون مدرک؟ سلام بسیجی قهرمان، رفتی پیش توسی با پنیر و یه نون سنگک. سلام به محفل قرآنیتون، سلام به مدیرای بحرانیتون، سلام به حاجی اکبر و طوله هاش و خارج و رفقای ارگانیتون، سلام به دزدای پول ملت که تش میفتین توی تور ملت. سلام به همه شما کرکسایی که دارین نونتون رو میزنین تو خون ملت، تا که تش زیر دست و پاک و تک بخورین، حالا هی به یه بادکنک بدوین. سلام آخر تو زندان باشه وقتی قرار به این آب خنک بخورین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. اینو بگذاریم به خاک میرسیم، تجزیه طلبی که به خاک بیرسیم. ایران مردمش وطن پرستن، از کرد تا بلوچ بری به فاک میرسی. توف به هر چی مرسی است، توف به هر کی در پی تجزیه است، توف به لوی و همونی که شیفته ی گل ملیگرا تو وطن خدا نسلی هست. سر کردستان همه برپا شدن، بلوچستان فدای مهسا شدن. شم واحد که شیر و خورشید ما بقی جعلی ها تنها شدن. شادی باشه واسه همه در میهن، کور بشه چه شهر چی اهریمن. رخه رو بگی تا اون 6 کلاس سواد و خبرگان و مشت سری ترجیحن. شبهای عروس و دامادی باشه، برن سلامتی نوش کنن و آبادی باشه. مقصد کجاست؟ میدون شهیاده به سمت اتوبان آزادی باشه. سلام به نسل ندید پدیدا، نبودیم ندیدیم قدیمتی ما. شاه بود تو شادی کل میزدین، حالا شاه بر میگرده پیک میزنین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا، ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا.
فاهنگ به این خوشگلی با نایده بود، اسم این عشقانه رو توش بیاریم، ولی خب لازم بود دیگه. فکر کنم با نایده.
Let's go. میخوام بگم از دلم، از عشق به این میهنم، به امید روز شکست دشمن شاه برمیگرده به وطن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی، بلند بگو همشهری، شاه رضا پهلوی، نظام رسیده پرتگاه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه، برگشت شاه به میهن، دوای درد وطن، این آخرین نبرده، پهلوی برمیگرده، داره میاد پهلوی، زجه بزن سید علی، راه نجات وطن، پهلوی هموطن، ایران میشه گلستان، شاه که بیاد به ایران، ایران که شاه نداره، حساب کتاب نداره، آخون باید گم بشه، توپ تانک فشفشه، گم شو بیرون اجنبی، داره میاد پهلوی، فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن ها. ما شاه میخوایم نه ملا، بذار بشنوه دنیا، ایرانی داد بزن، شاه تو فریاد بزن، برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی، بلند بگو هموطن، شاه رضا پهلوی، فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه، فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه، فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه.
Look at us here today. We see so many flags representing so many nations. We know we are not alone, and we thank you for being with us. For all people around the world who stand today in unity with the Iranian people, this is not just because it's good for us, and you do it out of compassion and care for our rights to liberty and justice and equality and human rights. But understand that it is in your best interest too, to have, unlike this regime that has been propagating terror and radicalism, we the people of Iran are peacemakers and not warmongers. We like to be friends, especially with the free world. We'd like to be able to have the best neighborly relationship with the people of our area and the region, with the Arab countries, with Israel, and all our other neighbors. We are fighting for justice, we're fighting for human rights, we are fighting for liberty, we're fighting to put an end to all sorts of discrimination. Because as an Iranian, I stand here to tell you that I've dedicated 47 years of my life because I think that my country deserves far better than what we have right now. To now understand that their best remedy is to support the people of Iran, because ultimately a free Iran will be your best partner, not just to bring stability and peace, but it will be in your best economic interest and opportunities. Together we can prosper again, and the world will be so different once the Iranian people are free. I am here to guarantee a transition to secular democratic future. I am committed to be that leader of transition for you, so we can one day have the final opportunity to decide the fate of our country through a democratic, transparent process, through the ballot box and free elections. And let's make sure that this time, especially the free nations of this world and their governments, stand on the right side of history.
Well, Durud Patriots, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to day 163 of Iran Revolution Live with your wonderful and amazing host, Mr. Armin NAVABI.
And your wonderful and amazing host, GOLDIE GHAMARI.
Thank you. Armin, how are you doing given the news last night?
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. What is happening? We are at war and ceasefire, full-on confrontational head-to-head war and ceasefire at the same time. This is the first time in history. What do you think is happening?
The Islamic regime is getting desperate. It's getting desperate. It sent all these missiles attacking Israel once again last night. I mean, this is, like you said, this is the strangest ceasefire I've ever seen. And I'm looking at President Trump's Truth Social posts. Let me just pull them up. His two most recent Truth Social posts. So he wrote 7 hours ago, Israel and Iran must immediately stop shooting. President Donald J. Trump. Well, I mean, the Islamic regime started it. And then President Trump wrote again, both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Yeah, I have a feeling the Islamic regime is not. Final negotiations on peace are proceeding. This is the interesting part. Subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in its way. The blockade will remain in place and in full force and effect until a final deal is reached. Things should move quickly. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, the Islamic regime is never going to come to a peace deal.
Yeah, obviously.
The Islamic regime is never going to come to a peace deal. I mean, Israel has every right to defend itself.
Yes. I'm so glad you're saying that.
Yeah. And, to me, this is wild. Like, the Islamic regime is in a state of chaos. And this goes back to what, you and I have been talking about earlier, and then what was confirmed by Marco Rubio last week, that there really is no chain of command, like militarily wise, the way that you would expect, like the chain of command in the United States or elsewhere. You have all these different IRGC bases that are sort of like acting independently. And then Marco Rubio even said that when it comes to the negotiators, they're dealing with either Ghalibaf or Arakchi, and, they will, agree to something on paper, but then they go back to the Islamic regime. And then, the crazy, like Vahidi and others, they're like, no, we're not going to do this. And then they basically just send ballistic missiles to Israel instead. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly. And Marco Rubio also specifically said that only stupid countries don't fire back when they're shot at. Here's, like, I have the video of that. So obviously, if Israel is being shot at, if they don't respond, that is a stupid country, according to Marco Rubio. So Marco Rubio's expectation is that if you're shot at, for example, by Hezbollah, you respond. And if you don't, you're a stupid country. That's what Marco Rubio said.
Yeah.
So is this mind games? Art of the deal? Good cop, bad cop? All of that?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're trying to figure out how to deal. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Israel knows how to deal with the Islamic regime, right? Israel knows that the only way to deal with the Islamic regime is to exterminate them. Yeah, I mean, this could be good cop, bad cop. I don't know. We don't know what President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are talking about behind the scenes. It could definitely be mind games of some sorts, right?
Yes, they don't. So I mean, here I will make the cases for and against, guys. I'm just providing both sides here. The arguments for this is all mind games, good cop, bad cop. None of this is real. Is that we have been here before the 12-day war, and that was and people said that oh, they're fighting, and then it ended up being they're being aligned. We were here again before Operation Epic Fury, and people are like, oh no, they're fighting, and it ended up being like, okay, no, they were actually aligned. So they're like, guys, like we have been here before, so why do you think that this is different? So that's a argument for this is being mind games. Okay, the argument again against, guys, don't come at me. Okay, I'm just telling you what the best argument against is being mind games. I think people are going to get upset no matter what I say, guys. Whenever you provide both sides of an argument, you basically make both sides upset. You're like, there's no winning this. Okay. So the argument against this is that if you look at the internal politics of Israel, this is not good for Netanyahu. Like, if this is mind games, this is a mind games that could end the career of Prime Minister Netanyahu, because the consensus, like the vast majority of the people are in Israel are pretty upset, and they think that they're being controlled by President Trump, and they are not allowed to defend themselves, and they just become a proxy country, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is not being strong enough in just making decisions for Israel when it comes to defending itself. And it's interesting because so many people from all the sides are attacking Netanyahu that you need to just do what is good for Israel without listening to President Trump. Let him get upset, but we need to defend ourselves. And I understand why somebody could make an argument that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are basically aligned, and this is just fake. I do not see how an entire country of Israel could be playing a mind game with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's not happening. I mean, yeah, maybe Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump are playing mind games behind the scenes, but what is the point of that if that Israelis themselves, I mean, the elections in Israel is coming pretty soon. It's happening pretty soon, and so this is going to be really bad, potentially devastating for Netanyahu's upcoming elections, right? So some people are saying, like, no, the reason why there is an actual misalignment here between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and both of them is because of the internal politics in United States and Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu is responding to Israelis. President Trump is responding to Americans. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, when it comes to Israelis want Prime Minister Netanyahu to respond strong, aggressively against the Islamic Republic and Hezbollah, and they see Prime Minister Netanyahu not responding as weakness and letting America dictate Israeli politics. And then President Trump is also responding to the internal politics of the United States, where there's a lot of people there thinking that, oh, you are basically listening to Netanyahu and you're letting him decide our foreign policy. And, we don't want this, gas prices, all of that stuff. We're being dragged into something that we're not interested in. So President Trump, for the internal politics of the United States, is motivated to come and show. Again, some people say he doesn't care about the midterms because he says so, but some people say, well, he must care about the midterms. He cannot not. His responsibility as the leader of the Republican Party is to care about the midterms. So the midterms are coming soon, and President Trump is responding to the internal politics of the United States. But whatever the answer is, and I know each side that is convinced on one side of this argument is like very like many people get angry when they hear the other side of this. But I think we should be tolerant of the people who disagree with us here. So if you're convinced 100%, because guys, our enemy is divided right now. We should not be divided. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that the people who are convinced that President Trump is making every right decision would not be convinced otherwise. Many of them would not be convinced otherwise. And the people who are thinking that President Trump is like screwing this up, they're not also going to be convinced otherwise. So many of them would have. So instead of trying to convince each other, let's tolerate each other, because we have the shared enemy. Like, we're united in wanting to defeat the Islamic Republic. That's what we're united on. We disagree on what's happening behind the scenes, and our enemy will benefit from us turning against each other. So the people who think that President Trump is making every single decision correctly, please be tolerant of the people who are frustrated with President Trump right now, because we're on the same side of this. And the people who are frustrated with President Trump, I want you to ask you to be patient with the people who think that President Trump is not doing anything wrong right now, because our enemy benefits from the internal division in the same way that we are benefiting from the internal division of the Islamic Republic. Our enemies will benefit from the internal division between us. So if you hear opinions that you don't like, focus on the fact that these are the people who are on your side against the Islamic Republic, and accept this disagreement. Let's just accept this disagreement among us, okay? What do you think, Goldie?
I agree with you. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Can we do that, guys, in the chat? Do you guys we can do that? All right. Okay, let's go through. Do you have anything to show, or do you want to hear some updates?
Well, let's get the updates. I mean, I think we've all seen some of the footage from last night, but I'll find some of the crazier footage. I mean, Armin, I was looking at like videos of like Islamic regime supporters who were literally yelling like Allahu Akbar, hearing the news of the missiles being launched towards Israel. And it's just like the most insane thing. Like, these people are crazy.
Yeah. The Islamic Republic is also dealing with its own internal politics right now, right? So the Islamic Republic is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they need to they have to do a balancing act, right? The Islamic Republic, I'm convinced that right now they don't want to go into war, because they think like, okay, this is going to be bad for us right now if we go into war. But they also have to pretend to their followers that they want to go into war, and they also have to show Hezbollah that they have their back. So the Islamic Republic has to solve this riddle. How do I don't drag ourselves into an all-out war while convincing my followers that I really want to go into war, and also convince Hezbollah that I have your back? So this is the riddle that the Islamic Republic has to solve. So it needs to look like very aggressive to the Israelis right now, but not very aggressive to President Trump. And the reason why the Islamic Republic cannot afford to go to war right now is because it's easy for Israelis to now, for example, kill Ghalibaf and kill Mujtaba. I think the Israelis know where Mujtaba is. So even though the Islamic Republic will benefit somewhat from going into head-to-head direct confrontational war with Israel because of lack of unity right now, they could use some fighting right now to fix that unity. But I think that the higher priority is right now is to keep Mujtaba, Ghalibaf, and Vahidi alive, and other people. And they know they can't protect them, so they're like, yeah, no. So if I was the Islamic Republic, through the connections that Ghalibaf has right now with President Trump's administration, I would be like, how could I hit Israel in a way that is not significant enough? And I could tell Trump, like, look, like, this was not that big of a deal. Please stop Israel. Please don't drag us into, like, let's just keep working on the deal. A deal that is not going anywhere, by the way. Please do not, like, this was just a love tap, like you say. But also go back to their followers and be like, oh my God, look what we did. We destroyed Israel. Oh my God. And they can't do anything about it. We look at this. Trump is stopping him. This is how powerful we are. We are so powerful that the Americans are afraid of going to war with us. And that's why we show them who's boss here. That's why America is stopping Israel, because they have realized how powerful they are. Trump is stopping Israel from going to war because the Americans have realized that we're too powerful to fight with. See, so the Islamic Republic has to take advantage of what happened yesterday, take to maximum. They have lost a lot of legitimacy along their followers. So yesterday, if I was the Islamic Republic, I would take full advantage of the narratives that I could take from last night, saying, like, guys, everybody told you that the Islamic Republic is weak, but if we're weak, Why is United States so afraid of us that they're forcing Israel, not trying to force Israel not to start a war? They started this war thinking that we're weak, and they're telling everybody that they destroyed us, but they know that we're not weak. They know that we have been winning this war. That's why the United States has changed this calculation. They don't want to continue this war, and they're afraid of Israel dragging the United States into this war, and that's why they're trying to stop Israel from dragging the United States into this war, because the calculations of the United States has changed regarding the strength of the Islamic Republic. That would be the narrative that I would try to sell to an internal audience within the Islamic Republic. And Goldie, like, this is why the Islamic Republic followers yesterday, they got a huge morale boost. Like, they were so happy. They were waiting for this, because the Islamic Republic is effectively basically selling this as absolute proof that this was this is a demonstration of all the reports being wrong about them. Let me actually show you that. So last night, if you look at this, the pro-regime Iranians got a huge treat. They were outside in the streets, and they saw the ballistic missiles of the Islamic Republic fly above their head towards Israel, and they could not be more happy. This was the Islamic Republic used last night to basically try to wash away 3 months of humiliation. And this is going to be short-lived, though. Like this was a boost in their morale, but I don't think it's going to last. But look at this. Look how excited they were. These are, like what you're seeing, the sky. These are the Islamic Republic ballistic missiles flying towards Israel, and the Iranian people, the pro-regime Iranian people in Kermanshah, watching them fly above their head, go towards Israel. Watch this. Look how this is. They're
crazy.
so happy.
They're crazy,
Yeah,
and like they're seeing the missiles, and they're like yelling "Allahu Akbar!" Like it's like they're insane. They're insane. I don't know of any other religion or group of people that does this.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a death cult. It's a death cult. They have look at this. Goldie, Hezbollah flags in the streets of Iran in Kermanshah with them. And they're looking at these missiles. They're like, "Oh, this is gonna." They're watching. They think this missile right here is gonna kill some Jews pretty soon. That's what they're seeing. They're seeing the instrument of death for the Jews. They're like, "Oh my God, this is the strength of the Islamic Republic. This is what we can do." By the way, it killed nobody. Thankfully, it killed 0 people in Israel, so that's a good thing. But you can't. But these people think it did. These people are probably convinced that it did. These people, every time, like if each one of these missiles kills like 0 people in the Israel, they're like, oh, they're saying their narrative is that Israel censors the real news, and it probably killed a lot of Jews. That's what they think. That's what they say.
Wow.
Let me actually see. For people who are not up to date regarding what happened, let me just see what happened. Let me just play this for us, just to get you up to speed with a few clips here.
An eventful 24 hours across the Middle East. Just last hour, more explosions reported in the Iranian capital of Tehran as Israel goes on the offensive, responding to waves of ballistic missiles that were fired at this country overnight. This all started yesterday afternoon when the IDF struck the Lebanese capital of Beirut, hitting the Dakhya neighborhood, a Hezbollah stronghold. Iranian officials later threatened to target Israel and then launched waves of ballistic missiles toward the northern part of this country, sending hundreds of thousands of people into bomb shelters. Now, as those missiles were soaring through the skies of Israel, I was on the phone with President Trump getting his reaction. He said, what I would suggest to Iran, you shot your missiles, that's enough. get back to the table and make a deal. Israel later launched a series of airstrikes against central and western Iran, going after military targets and air defense systems there. They later hit a petrochemical plant in the western.
So petrochemical, guys, we're basically going in the industrial facilities now. So this is a huge escalation. This is what Israel was really trying to avoid to do. But we're going industrial bases now, which again, I know it's hard to hear this as an Iranian for me to say that for a lot of Iranians watching, but I think it's Israel got to do what Israel's got to do. I mean, we tried everything else. If this is what it takes. Our infrastructure are the Iranian people. Like, I know some Iranians would hate, not like me saying this, but I think most Iranians will actually support me saying this. This is not our infrastructure anymore. This is the Islamic Republic's infrastructure, and we can rebuild. And Israel has already tried just going for military, and if it didn't do the job, then they have every right. And we actually encourage them go for like, we actually celebrate them going for anything that weakens the Islamic Republic.
Central and western Iran, going after military targets and air defense systems there.
So guys, some people I mean, they do use this for military, for creating military equipment and, you know, fuel and stuff like that. But honestly, even if they didn't, even if this was completely economical, we have to weaken the Islamic Republic one way or another. Even if this infrastructure was not dual use, the Islamic Republic has to go. The Islamic Republic has to go. So if you could financially suffocate the Islamic Republic, go for it. Just go for it.
Later hit a petrochemical plant in the western part of Iran.
Okay.
The Iranians responded with more waves of ballistic missiles against this country, and the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen also launched 2 missiles towards central Israel, triggering sirens in Tel Aviv. A lot of kinetic action overnight. Back and forth sirens sounding across this country, millions of people in bomb shelters, and the region now waits to see if there will be more Iranian fire in the hours ahead.
So let me actually look at the current narrative, like the exchanges between President Trump. Let's see what other people's opinions are about what President Trump has recently said. But guys, I see the super chats. We're going to respond to them in 20 minutes or so. Okay, so thank you for the super chats. But let me just go through the updates, and then we're going to go see the Q&A session, see what you guys have to say.
Launching missiles toward Israel right now. Trey Yingst is on the breaking developments. He is in Tel Aviv. Trey.
Yeah, John, good afternoon. Iran has launched at least 4 waves of missiles at Israel in response to those IDF strikes against the Lebanese capital of Beirut earlier today. I just got off the phone with President Trump, who is following the developing situation across the region. He told me what I would suggest to Iran: you've shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. The president once again calling for a negotiated settlement. He also spoke about the ongoing negotiations with Iran, saying we are very close. I would say an agreement would be signed on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this coming week. And now this takes place. And so the president...
By the way, guys, let us know in the chat, like, does anybody expect Israel to hold back? Like, we all agree with whatever we think about what's happening behind the scenes. Are we all on the same page that Israel has the right to respond to the Islamic Republic? And it would make sense for them to continue right now, to not hold back and continue hitting the Islamic Republic. Are we on the same page on that?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
We'll get briefed on what is happening right now, this ongoing Iranian ballistic missile attack against Israel. But I asked him about those initial IDF strikes that took place earlier today. He told me they were not coordinated with the United States, and I asked him for reaction to the Israeli strikes against...
Yeah, guys, obviously Israel is an independent nation state. What is going on between United States and the Islamic Republic is between them. It's obviously we cannot expect Israel to abide by any form of negotiations that it's not even a party to. Like, it's not even involved. It's not even, Israel is not even at the table. So why should Israel adjust its behavior based on any talks that unite 2 other states are having with each other. It makes no sense, right?
Hezbollah in Beirut, and President Trump said, I'm not happy about it. Now, more broadly, he said that the ongoing Iranian were not coordinated with the United States, and I asked him for reaction to the Israeli strikes against Hezbollah in Beirut, and President Trump said, I'm not happy about it.
So President Trump he said he's not happy about Israeli strikes on Hezbollah in Beirut. He said he's not happy about it. So again, this might be mind games. Yep.
Now, more broadly, he said that the ongoing Iranian missile fire toward Israel at this moment certainly is not going to help the negotiations.
So here's how the mind game could work if this is mind games. President Trump might be telling Netanyahu, like, listen, I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to attack you. Oh, this is how it could benefit Bibi as well, okay? So Bibi, like, for internal politics perspective. So President Trump saying, like, listen, for my internal politics perspective, I'm going to tell people that you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. And that way I will get the isococks on off my back, right? And then you, for your internal politics perspective, go and just not pay attention to me and do what you do best. You just go attack. I pretend that I'm trying to stop you, and that will benefit me internally. And you go ahead and pretend that you're defying me and doing what Israel is supposed to do, and that will benefit you from your internal politics. That will make you, right? What do you guys think about that? So because Israelis right now expect Netanyahu to basically say no to President Trump and just do what Israel does best. So maybe President Trump is just saying, like, yeah, I'm just going to tell you to stop, and you just don't stop. Do what you do. That could be what's happening.
Is not going to help the negotiations, but again, he is calling on the Iranians to stop firing these missiles and get back to the negotiating table to ultimately reach a settlement.
So if this theory is true, we just have to see what Israel does right now. If Israel goes on full attack mode and just ignores President Trump's warning to stop, this might all be arranged behind the scenes.
At this moment certainly is not going to help the negotiations, but again, he is calling on the Iranians to stop firing.
Guys, I'm just saying might, okay? So if you're against this, I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. You guys don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But guys, there's the reason why we have to consider all options, and also even if we disagree with the other options, we have to attribute some degree of possibility to it, is because given what we can do as people who have their own media, like you guys all have your own media because you're on social media, right? We have to move forward because all of you are soldiers right now. All of you are soldiers in the information warfare and in the psychological warfare. So as soldiers right now in this information warfare against the Islamic Republic, we need to stay united, and we need to also move forward without being completely married to one narrative, because we can't 100% be sure what's happening behind the scenes. So we should be like, it could be A, B, or C, and then move forward and make decisions and decide what our contribution is going to be in this fight, with the understanding that multiple options could be true and we don't know exactly which. Instead of completely being married to A is happening or B is happening or C is happening, I think it will benefit us if saying, like, well, I think A is the most likely, but I'm not going to ignore option B and C, because if I make my decisions based on one of these things and then the other one being true, then a lot of my efforts is going to be ruined. A lot of my efforts is going to be in the wrong direction. So even if I'm very much believing in option A, I will consider option B and C also being true at the back of my mind while I make decisions on how to fight the Islamic Republic.
These missiles and get back to the negotiating table to ultimately reach a settlement. The president talked about the power of the U.S. military.
Okay. So guys, remember, every time you feel like a little bit demotivated or like losing hope or thinking that things are moving in the wrong direction, one thing you need to do is remember that whatever has happened, whatever good or bad decisions have been made, the results is that the Islamic Republic is weaker than it has ever been in its history. So I know some of us want these things to happen sooner, right? We want some of these things to happen sooner. However, that's not how anything works. Like, revolutions take time, war takes time. The Soviet Union took 45 years to fall, but it did eventually fall. I appreciate the fact that we're caring for the Iranian people and we want faster results, but we have to deal with objective reality. And even if we're moving in the right direction, even if we're moving towards our destination at a slower pace than many of us want, the good news is that we are still moving in that direction. Like, we're getting closer to our goal. We're not getting farther away from our goal. We're getting closer to our goal, because every single day, remember, the blockade is still on, and that means the Islamic Republic is getting weaker every single day. Okay, let me go through these a little bit faster because I want to see what you guys have to say.
In the Middle East takes a turn with those latest Iranian ballistic missile strikes being carried out across Israel. And this again underscores just how delicate these potential talks are. And even though we heard the president tell Fox that we were potentially just days away from securing a deal, that now all of that might be in jeopardy. We've heard the president say that negotiators are getting closer, and he's underscored some of his hard lines that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and that Iran cannot be able to have language in that deal that would allow them to, in the future, potentially buy a weapon. We've also heard the president push back, saying this is not an endless war. It comes as the war has now stretched into the 100-day mark. So there is a lot of pressure from Democrats saying this needs to come to an end. There's simply too much strain on the American public when it comes to gas prices and the overall impact on the economy. At the same time, of course, we did see that new uptick in the jobs numbers report. So that was a positive there. So we have heard.
By the way, guys, that was huge. That was crazy. The uptick in the jobs market was like crazy, amazing numbers. Everybody was shocked. And it's interesting because the stock market fell as a result to it, even though that's good news. And the reason why the stock market fell as a result to it is because the expectation is that the job market is so good that the Fed is probably going to want to raise the interest rates in result of that. And that's why the stock market fell. So the stock market falling sometimes is in response to good news, not bad news. Long term, if you zoom out, the stock market goes up in response to good news, but sometimes short term, it has some weird cases where actually because of good news, the stock market falls.
Some pushback in terms of what the administration says it's seeing this. But at the end of the day, the president has reiterated that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon and that these kinds of attacks cannot continue to be carried out across the Middle East. And this isn't the latest attack that we've seen. It was just in the last 2 days. The U.S. Central Command says that it had to intercept incoming Iranian drones. So aerial assaults. There are 2 taking place.
So guys, now everybody is waiting to see if the Islamic Republic responds, okay? Because if they don't, they're going to look weak to their own followers and to Hezbollah. But if they do, they might actually, I don't know, die, right? So the Islamic Republic is now, so the Islamic Republic attacked, Israel responded. Now everybody is waiting to see if the Islamic Republic is going to respond to Israel's response. That's what we're waiting for to see. And the Islamic Republic is like, oh, no. I don't want to respond. I don't want to drag us. I don't want to die. But they also think like, but if I don't respond, like, what do I do? How do I explain this to my followers?
Over the Strait of Hormuz, according to U.S. Central Command, and other drones that were carried out, drone attacks carried out just the day prior. So we've been seeing this escalation. Obviously, right now in the last hour, this is taking a dramatic turn with the president saying, you know, Iran, you have fired your missiles. Come back to the negotiation table. So we'll have to see if that actually does turn into anything. This obviously is a very...
Well, okay, this lady, this is more interesting. This part regarding Trump and Netanyahu, let's listen to this part. This is pretty...
And now this, and He is holding consultations with his security team, I am told by a senior U.S. official. And I asked the president about the Israeli strike on Hezbollah in Beirut earlier today. He told me that was not coordinated with the United States and that he is not happy about it. The region is now waiting to see if the Israelis will respond to these waves of ballistic missiles that targeted their northern cities, including the third largest Israeli city of Haifa. But what we saw earlier today, an effort by the Israeli air defense systems to shoot down the incoming fire. Tonight, we can report that Iran's foreign minister is speaking with regional counterparts about the situation right now. And the IDF spokesperson released a TV statement earlier today indicating that schools across Israel tomorrow will be closed. He said Iran is trying.
Guys, Israelis, I'm so sorry for dealing with what you're dealing with. Hopefully you guys stay safe. Stay safe, everyone. Israelis, I don't know what's about to happen. The Islamic Republic might respond. I'm so glad that nobody's dying from these. I mean, some people died earlier from some other attacks, so I'm so sorry to hear about that.
Trying to create a new equation when it conducts direct fire on our territory. In response, the IDF will attack in relation to the current security protocol. And so, again, this is a political decision ultimately that will be made by Israel in terms of whether or not there will be a response. But the latest information that we have, 4 waves of Iranian ballistic missiles targeted Israel tonight in response to the IDF strikes on Hezbollah in southern Beirut earlier today. President Trump telling Fox News that he has a message for Iran. He says, you've shot your missiles. That's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. Guys.
This part is the most controversial one. Okay, so this is President Trump saying that Trump calls the shot. President Trump says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will likely have to accept whatever agreement the U.S. reaches with Iran. Right? A lot of people are like, this is not are criticizing this, saying this is not a way for President Trump to talk about basically United States best ally in the region, right? This is like a lot of people saw this to be like very insulting, to as if Prime Minister Netanyahu is just basically America's puppet or something, right? So it says the comments came after Iran launched missiles at Israel in the first attack since April ceasefire, raising fears that the conflict could reignite. Israel says the missiles were intercepted or landed in open areas, while military officials warned Iran had made a grave mistake. So again, this could be all mind games, or depending. I see people in the chat are divided about that. Some people say like, no, it's not. Some people saying yes, it is. But you know, it's pretty harsh language, whatever it is. Basically, speaking as if Israel doesn't have its own independent decision, like can't make its own decisions, and it has to just give in to what America decides. Yeah, so a lot of people were reporting about that. Trump says Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept a deal with Iran. I mean, so obviously, if this is fake, like mind games, we all know that that's something that we don't expect from Israel. Here's what Israel has. This is the real thing that Israel has no choice over. Israel has no choice but to do everything that it possibly can to survive. The Israeli state was created to protect Jews and all Israeli citizens, and Israel has a responsibility to do everything in its power to destroy Israel's enemies. That's the thing that they have no choice over. They have no choice but to continue fighting against the enemies of Israel. No matter what happens, Israel should continue destroying its enemies. That's the real thing that they have no choice over. So again, none of us here, I think, expect Israel to be dictated by United States on its own foreign policy, especially given that Israel is the #1 country in the world when it comes to being threatened with absolute annihilation, right? If there's any country on this planet that we know has to go above and beyond doing everything in its power to defend itself and destroy its enemies, it's Israel. Jew hatred is the most common hatred, the most ancient, the most common, the most widespread, the most insistent, and the most aggressive hate in the world. And Israel as a nation state was what, in its modern form at least, was created to respond to that. And to this day, no country is threatened more than Israel. And Israel should never stop doing what it can do to eliminate the threat against it. So if I would, like, I know this might all be fake, but the more accurate version would be Israel will have no choice but to do everything in its power to respond to all threats with the annihilation of its enemies. That's the way. So let's actually see what Prime Minister Netanyahu said about this. You guys agree with that?
Attacking us. If Iran makes the mistake and resumes its attacks against us, we will respond forcefully because Israel has the right to defend itself, and we will maintain this right. Stop attacking us.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Let me quickly see. So some interesting updates from inside Iran. Communication between Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei and Iranian officials has been disrupted since Saturday night, according to information obtained by Iran International. A source familiar with the development said Monday's missiles attacks on Israel were likely carried out under pre-established military protocols without coordination with the office of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Wow. The source added that the Revolutionary Guards, yep, this is actually confirms exactly what we know about how the IRGC operates. Guys, the IRGC is becoming like it's doing its own thing without, even if Mojtaba is healthy and alive and kicking and everything, the IRGC is doing its own thing. Honestly, if anything, I would add to that is that even if the line of communication was there, the IRGC is making its own, is basically its own thing now. So the source added that the Revolutionary Guard response, maybe the reason why the line of communication is disrupted is because IRGC is just not answering the call from Mojtaba. It's like, wait, who this new number? You're cutting out. Supreme Leader, you're cutting in. I can't hear you. Sorry, I don't. Yep. Bye. Okay, just doing this. IRGC is doing its own thing. The source added that the Revolutionary Guard's response to Israel's strike on Beirut's southern suburbs appeared too rapid to have followed an exchange of messages with Mojtaba Khamenei. Yeah, I pretty much believe that for sure. And let's look at these missiles that they're sending. Look at this. The IRGC fired missiles at petrochemical facility in Israel on Monday. Iran state media said, releasing footage of the strike. Look at this. This is from the state TV. Look at the message on the missile. So this is what they wrote in English, and in Hebrew they wrote, "You will regret." Oh, in English, in Hebrew, and in Persian, not in Arabic. You know, guys, let me actually mute this while I'm showing this. A lot of Iranians joke that the Islamic Republic, its missiles don't kill many Israelis, if any, when they send their ballistic missiles to Israel. So they said there's a car in Iran called Pride, okay? And it's responsible for so many Iranians dying because this car is basically a death box. Like, when it comes to car accidents, it's prone to a lot of accidents and people just die as soon as, like, it's really bad. It's like it has no safety. Like, it's a really bad car that millions of Iranians, like hundreds of thousands of Iranians die in it. And, yearly, like the numbers are insane. So many Iranians, with their dark humor, they joke that if the Islamic Republic truly wanted to kill Israelis, instead of sending these ballistic missiles that doesn't kill anybody, they would just export their cars. They would just export their cars to Israel, and that would probably kill more Israelis. That would be a much, just send them the pride cars that you have. And then, oh, Mark Levin is pretty upset about all of this. Mark Levin is saying, why are we turning on Israel and Netanyahu tonight? Wow. So, guys, if this is mind games, okay, then either Mark Levin is contributing to this mind games, and he knows what's happening and he's helping with it, or he is not in on it and his interpretation is that this is not real. This is actually real real fighting, right? So I don't know what you guys think about that. Also, let me see. No, I'm not going to read that one. I'm going to read that later. Should I read this? I will read that later. Okay, let's see. Actually, when I told you what Israel has the right, look at what, listen to what Marco Rubio said. Emily Schrader posted this.
If you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire. We're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at. And we're not a stupid country. If you
Only stupid countries will stop shooting when they're shot at. Listen again.
Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at. And we're not a stupid country. If you
Okay, and neither is Israel. Obviously, neither is Israel. Let's also look at this. So, guys, we're supposed to go to the Q&A section now, but let's look at this. This is pretty cool. The IDF posted this video. So let me read the caption before we play the video. Why is this buffering? Stop buffering. Thank you. And okay. And now it's not pausing. Oh, there we go. So the caption is saying the IDF completed a large-scale strike on strategic defense systems belonging to Iranian terror regime. So guys, this is actually very interesting because we were told that a lot of this defense system before was damaged but not completely destroyed. So the IDF is now saying that this time there were these recent attacks from yesterday, now they're completely destroyed. So I think recently defense systems were deployed across Iran to restore the regime's capabilities degraded during Operation Roaring Lion. The strike led to the dismantling of these systems. So let's look at this. This is really good because it's so easy to, like, it costs the Islamic Republic so much to make these and make them operational, and Israel just takes them away just like that. Look at this. Striking of defense systems across Iran. Wait, is this the Bavar system? Oh, yeah. Is this the Bavar system? Because, guys, I know the Islamic Republic buys S-300s. Is it 300s? From Russia, but they have their own internal made, homemade one system called the Bavar system. I don't know if this is that one. It looks like the Bavar system. So yeah, these were completely destroyed. These were the air defense. Okay. So let's actually go to your questions and this is our Q&A. Let's see, guys. Let's see if the scene is going to kick me out today. Okay. Don't worry. If you see when I change the scene to the Q&A, if you see me go away, I will come back. It will be just a few seconds. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. I will be back. I know you guys gonna miss me, but let's see. Oh, I'm here. It didn't kick me out. Okay, we stopped.
So strange. It's so strange. Like it's just. I guess it was in a good mood today. Happy Monday. It's in a good mood.
Happy Monday. Thank you, Super Chat Scene, for being tolerant today of me. It's a miracle.
Yes. Miracle.
Yes. Okay, guys, let's go through the Super Chats. Thank you, everybody. So we have Yovar Vatan. I finally got these right. Yovar Vatan means the helper of this nation, or basically the supporter of the nation. So basically, it's a patriotic name. Just became a member. Thank you so much, Yavarevatan, for
Welcome.
being a member. Okay, probably Iranian or maybe somebody who's knows Persian. And then we have Male Cat Woman. Thank you so much for being a member for 5 months, Mel, saying solidarity, prayer, free Iran, Javid Shah. Well, thank you for supporting us and for the solidarity. We appreciate that. Thank you. And then we have Sherry, who's back from her trip. And thank you, Sherry. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Sherry comes back from her trip with gifts, with 5 membership gifts to the people in the chat, and also a super chat. Sherry saying, "Thank you both for sharing the voice of the Iranian people. Let's spread love, freedom, and liberty onto every land." You know what?
I love that.
love that. I love that, especially the liberty part. Liberty brings so much with it, guys. Liberty is the solution to prosperity and even to love. You know, I could make that argument. I will if you ask me. And thank you, Sherry. And then we have William. William with a super chat saying, "I love this fiery but mostly peaceful ceasefire."
It's wild.
It's so wild. Yes. Why not? Like, let's just go with that. Let's go. I mean, guys, if we could have a ceasefire that is this fiery, then Israel should be able to do the same, right? So if United States could have ceasefire with the Islamic Republic while bombing whatever they need to at any time, so Israel could be like basically throwing ballistic missiles at Hezbollah and the Islamic Republic, and be like, what? I'm just abiding by this new definition of a ceasefire. Like I'm just doing the same. This is the Middle East after all, right? This is how we do ceasefire here. We celebrate ceasefires by bombing each other. That's how we do ceasefire in the Middle East, right? Isn't that the definition of ceasefires in the Middle East? Israel is just, I mean, I think Israel would be, knows how to, if this is how the Middle Easterns do ceasefire, Israeli is being Middle Eastern. And thank you, William, again. And then Sherry with a super chat saying, "I love Trump. I know he's trying to end this evil regime, but Trump would never stand for bombs and attacks on our land." Yes. Oh my God, Sherry, that's such a good point. That's such a good point, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, Israel is so evil. They're ending this, like they're not letting peace happen." Like, so many countries around the world criticize Israel for what it does, and all of those countries, if they got 1% of attacks that Israel has received, they would just flatten, they would completely annihilate whatever the source of those threats are. Like, imagine if United States got, for example, a 1% of the attacks that Israel has gotten in the past decades. Whoever was responsible for that, like, the Americans will not tolerate that. They will be like, yeah, let's go, F these mother affairs. Like, let's go end them. Like, the whole country would be like, yeah, let's go annihilate these people. If it's on your homeland, if it's on your own soil, and the Americans were dealing with what the Israelis have to deal with, whatever body, whatever entity was responsible for that, they would be annihilated. Okay, it would be destroyed, and all Americans would be behind that, because nobody can tolerate living like Israelis have to live, and nobody can tolerate dealing what the Israelis have to deal with for the past multiple decades. Like, it's insane. Every state is responsible for showing maximum aggression to the source of threats that similar to what Israelis are facing, for sure. That's the whole point of having a state, guys. That's the one thing that we have the state for. We have a nation state. The whole point of having a state is for the protection of the nation. Like, are you even a state if you're being attacked and you're like just holding back? Like, what's the point of having a military if you can't respond to threats? Thank you, Sherry. And then Danny, thank you so much for the super chat, saying Trump revealed his hand. He wants deal at all costs. Okay, so Danny, what kind of a deal are we talking about? So I have no issue with President Trump wanting a deal. Okay, the thing that we should be focusing on is what deal, because there are, as Goldie often mentions, that we should be okay with a deal as long as the deal is a surrender deal, as long as the red lines don't move, as long as the red lines make it so that a deal would result in the fall of the Islamic Republic. We're like, sure, go with the deal, go with that deal. Why not? Just make sure the red lines don't move. Like if the red lines continues to be, the Islamic Republic has to not just promise, obviously promise, that's nonsense, has to not enrich uranium in a way that Americans are there on the ground in Iran to make sure that they have basically see everything all the time. And also the enriched uranium of the Islamic Republic leaves Iran. And also the Islamic Republic stops supporting terrorists in the region. And also the Islamic Republic reduces the range of its ballistic missiles. If any of these happen, that would be the end of the Islamic Republic because of the because everything that we have explained to you with regards to the internal politics of the Islamic Republic. That would be the beginning of the end. So yeah, so I'm not. I know a lot of people don't want a deal, but it depends on, is it a deal for the survival of the Islamic Republic, or is it a deal for the end of the Islamic Republic? If it's a surrender deal, then we don't have an issue. We shouldn't have an issue with it. And thank you for the super chat, Danny. And then we got another super chat by Zipgun. Zipgun is saying the midterm election threat is real. A Democratic win will end this in favor of the IGC. Yep. In most of the contested races, the candidate is against this war. Yes, that's 100% true. And I think President Trump knows that. I think President Trump needs to say, out of the deal, he needs to say that he doesn't care about the results of the midterms, but obviously he should care about them, because if the Democrats win, that's a win for the Islamic Republic, for sure, for sure. So, and President Trump knows that. So I think he also understands that a lot of Americans they vote based on their purchasing power and affordability. That's what Americans care mostly about, right? So it makes sense what President Trump is doing based on the internal politics of the United States. Because a lot of us might say, like, okay, guys, why do we care about oil prices? Why do we care about like affordability in the United States? We should care about destroying this death cult of the Islamic Republic that is becoming nuclear and wants to basically take over the world. That should be the priority. Yes, obviously that should be the priority. But unfortunately, many American voters don't see it that way. And we can't, and as popular as Goldie's channel is, we can't reach all of them, and we're not going to be able to change their mind before the midterm. So we have to care about affordability in the United States, because if the Democrats come into power, because these people vote the Republicans out, then that's a win for the Islamic Republic, obviously. So it makes sense. So here's the best steel manning of President Trump. If again, don't get angry with me, for the case that the infighting between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are actually fighting, real fight, not a fake fight, here's the best defense of President Trump. President Trump is thinking more long-term. President Trump is thinking more long-term. He wants to put maximum pressure on the Islamic Republic, but he's not going to be able to do that if the Democrats win big in the midterms, right? Like, I mean, he will, but he's going to be more limited. So he needs to just reduce the military operations right now, keep so that the oil prices stay under 100 until the midterms, which it will eventually lead to maybe gas prices going down, so that the high gas prices don't have that much of an effect on the midterm elections, so that the Democrats don't take over, so that President Trump could go back in full aggressive mode against the Islamic Republic, right? So this is the steel manning of President Trump's position, even if the infighting between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu Israel. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm not saying that this is what's happening. I'm saying I'm starting my statements with a lot of ifs. If. So let me actually turn this off and on again. I don't know why one of the comments were stuck. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. And thank you again, Zipgun. And then we have Atki. Atki, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, if we're confused, imagine how the Islamic Republic is feeling. That is a very good point, Atki. As frustrating this might be for the rest of us, for all of us, you have to understand this is like exponentially more frustrating for the Islamic Republic. And if we can't understand what President Trump is doing, that's a good thing, because that means that President Trump is being so confusing that he's also, you need to be confusing. The Islamic Republic needs to not understand what the hell is happening. So if we can really effectively know, okay, like for example, if we say like, guys, we know what President Trump is doing, but well, if we can know, the Islamic Republic can know as well. So it's actually in our benefit if we can't tell what the hell is happening, because that means that the Islamic Republic can't tell what's happening as well. Oh, we got confetti in the chat. Thank you, guys. Let me hearts this one. That's a really good point, Edki. Very good point. I'm glad that you made that point. And Boboism, is that like a movement? Boboism? What does this movement stand for? Should I join? It sounds cool. Boboism is saying mind game. Yes, Trump blames Bibi. Trump and Bibi become stronger at home, and Saudi et al. Are forced into an agreement. AA. Oh, Abrahamic Accord. Yes. I mean, guys, even if they are not forced into an Abrahamic Accord, we're moving an inch closer. So yes, this is the best case scenario, Bobo, that's what's happening. Okay, to get Israel's protection against Iran, against the Islamic Republic. Yes, this is the best case scenario. Hopefully, this is what's happening. Okay, so I know a lot of us want to believe that the best case is what is actually happening, but again, it's better to always consider all options and hope that this is what really is happening, because that is the best case scenario. I hope that is what's happening. And thank you, Bobo. So by the way, Bobo, this is what to see if you're right about your theory, and I hope you're right. We can now observe if Israel would actually respond more aggressively to the Islamic Republic in the next few days, because Israel, if Israel just goes on full-on aggressive mode against the Islamic Republic, that means that behind the scene, President Trump and Israel might have already agreed that I'll tell you to stop, and you just don't stop. Okay, thank you, Bobo. And then Sherry saying, thank you again, Sherry, by the way, for the super chat, saying it is not the Islamic regime, it is the Islamic communist terrorist regime. You know, Sherry, that shows that you have a deeper understanding of the Islamic Republic than most people. Most people are like, how are they communist? Like, what are you talking about? How is the Islamic Republic communist? But you are so correct. The 1979 Islamic Revolution was not an Islamic revolution. It was an Islamic Marxist revolution. And even though the mullahs got rid of the Marxists, a lot of their ideology remained within the regime. And you would be able to make a lot more sense of what a lot of people try to figure out what the Islamic Republic is doing based on understanding that their ideology is Islamic. And actually, that is not true. If you try to make sense of the Islamic Republic only based on Islamic ideas, a lot of what they're doing doesn't actually make sense. But if you also understand that it's Islamic, but also so many of the Marxist ideas of the 1979 Islamic Revolution remained within the Islamic Republic, then you will be able to make a better sense of a lot of the decision-making process of the Islamic Republic. So, Sherry, I congratulate you for being a lot more aware on this topic than the vast majority of the people out there. And then we have Shims with a super sticker. Thank you. Well, thank you for the super sticker. And oh yeah, this fleshy interloper reminding all of us that we need to be grateful to the IDF. Just simply thanking the IDF. Yes, guys, the IDF is the force between the greatest evil on this planet and the rest of the planet. The IDF soldiers pay more of their share of what is required to defend the whole world, and we should all be grateful to them. The whole world owes an unpayable debt to the IDF. The IDF doesn't just protect Israel. The IDF is protecting the whole world, and instead of thank you, they get all the blame. They do most of the work to protect the whole planet from this evil, and they don't get appreciated for it. And I think more of us should basically be grateful to them. They do most of the, not just the financial cost, they do also the price in lives are paid by Israeli soldiers more than any other soldiers on this planet. And it's not fair, honestly. It's not fair. It's not fair that one country is paying so much to defend the world against this evil and they get blamed for it instead of getting more support. Thank you, Fleshy Interloper. And then we have Bill Herman. Thank you so much for the super chat, saying, did the IRGC commander get boomed? There's rumors. I didn't report it on purpose. So there were rumors on Vahidi being killed. I didn't want to get your hopes up, but we did hear a lot of rumors that yesterday in the military operations, Vahidi was killed. None of it has been confirmed. So don't get your hopes up until we have some confirmation. On purpose, I didn't include it in the list of things. I saw it, but still zero confirmation on that. But if it does happen, it would be a huge deal. Like, it would be a big deal. So yeah. And then, thank you, by the way, Bill. And then we have Sherry. Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, by the way, I couldn't find you today at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Yes, I had to go spend time with family a little bit, so I took some time off but now I'm back. I will go back to regular scheduling right now.
Well, welcome back.
But yes. Thank you, Goldie. Yes. Sorry, guys. I just had to spend some time with family. Okay, and thank you for looking for me. Yes. And Agent Anderson, thank you so much for being a member for 2 months, saying, Javid Shah, thanks for keeping us updated. You're welcome, Agent Anderson. And Javid Shah, right back at you. Thank you. Javid Shah. Nima with a super chat saying, love you guys. Payande Iran. Oh, Payande Iran. Thank you. Nima. Love you, Nima. And then Michanuga. Ooh, cool name. Michanuga is saying, stop the oppression of the Iranian people, Javid Shah. Yes, stop the oppression of the Iranian people. Well, we will stop it ourselves. We will basically end the oppressors. So we will help them end the oppressions. We don't need to wait for them. We will destroy them. But yes, we will stop it. And then Sketch with a super chat saying, thank you, Sketch, saying, I can't control Hezbollah means Islamic Republic equals Islamic Republic. I can't control Bibi equals USA. Oh, see, these are the mind games that both sides are playing. Here, like USA, like, I'm trying, but look, I can't control them. And the Islamic Republic is also trying to play like, listen, Hezbollah. Well, actually, the Islamic Republic is not the Islamic Republic. Actually, the Islamic Republic is not saying that. The Islamic Republic is saying encouraging, basically, at least in the narrative. Okay, maybe you're right. Okay, Sketch, you're correct if you assume that in their private phone calls with the Americans, they're saying that. Okay, Sketch, I'll take it back. You are correct. Publicly, what the Islamic Republic is saying is like, yeah, we're going to annihilate Israel. Hezbollah and the Islamic Republic are on the same side, and we're basically the same thing. There's no division between us at all. And yes, we're going to show maximum aggression against the Islamic Republic, and so is Hezbollah. But I think in their private conversations with the Americans, the Islamic Republic is saying, as a way to try to convince Trump that this is to continue with the ceasefire, is like, listen, we cannot control Hezbollah. We're trying to stop them, and they're not listening. So yes, Gesh, what you're saying is probably true behind the scenes, but publicly they're not saying that. Because Islamic Republic, here's the thing: Islamic Republic cannot publicly afford to say anything negative against Hezbollah. Okay, Hezbollah is Islamic Republic's favorite child, and all the other proxy groups always look at how the Islamic Republic treats Hezbollah as a way to measure how they are going to be treated. Because if the Islamic Republic's favorite child is abandoned, everybody else is going to be like, well, we're screwed then. Like, if they're not going to protect Hezbollah, what are they going to do to us? So all the other proxies are always watching how the Islamic Republic treats Hezbollah as a way to measure how they are going to be treated. And right now, the Islamic Republic has very little deterrence capabilities, right? A lot of their deterrence capabilities have been destroyed by Americans and the Israelis, and they only have three things left. One is the enriched uranium, two is the Strait of Hormuz, threats on the Strait of Hormuz, and four is what remains of their proxies. So the proxies are for the Islamic Republic. We're in a very dangerous situation right now because the Islamic Republic is having a hard time keeping them paid because of the naval blockade and Operation Economic Fury. It's not just a drop in revenue that is becoming an issue. It's also a drop in liquidity that is becoming an issue for the Islamic Republic to keep these proxies paid. And we're hearing more of them start complaining about them not getting paid. So if you abandon Hezbollah while they're being destroyed, like killed by the Israelis, Hezbollah might stop being become like, this is a spectrum. It's not like a zero to 100, right? Because so Hezbollah might become more independent from the Islamic Republic if they feel like they're not getting the support that they used to get. And if they become more independent, they will become less of a proxy and less of a deterrent capability. And that means that the Islamic Republic has less levers to pull, less cards to play at the negotiating table. And that would mean that the Americans will have the upper hand if the Hezbollah is not a proxy that listens to the Islamic Republic. So that's why the Islamic Republic, and also the Houthis, like the Islamic Republic is really trying to get the Houthis to help it become more of a deterrence capacity at the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb. So to basically cause more devastation to global economy by also controlling another waterway. But the Houthis have been like missing in action, even though they would have been very useful if they could, like, for example, close Bab el-Mandeb right now. But because some people suspect that maybe the Houthis are disappointed with the level of support that they're getting from the Islamic Republic, so they're not listening to them. So this is why the Islamic Republic is really desperate to show support for its proxies right now, to not lose them as a deterrence force. And that's why they cannot afford. This is why they act like they worship Hezbollah. This is why you are seeing right now Hezbollah flags in the streets in Iran, because any Islamic Republic official that says anything even remotely negative about Hezbollah, they will be like crucified. Like Hezbollah is like, they kind of worshiping Hezbollah right now, right? So yeah, what you're saying might be true behind the scene, but publicly, there is no way the Islamic Republic could say anything against Hezbollah. The Islamic Republic treats the Hezbollah people in Lebanon with more love than their own regime supporters inside Iran. So Iranian regime supporters are less loved by the Islamic Republic than Lebanese members of Hezbollah. Just think about that. That's how much Hezbollah is a priority for the Islamic Republic. All right, let's go to Sherry. Thank you again, Sherry. Wow, so generous. So thank you for the super chat. Saying back from vacay welcome back. A few bucks to burn. Be careful, be responsible with your finances. Don't burn them too fast. Saying Goldie always looks so amazing. Love
Oh,
you, gal.
thank you.
Amazing.
Thank
Okay.
you.
What a nice compliment. Thank
Wow.
you, Sherry. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next super chat by Victory. Victory coming again. Thank you so much for always being so supportive. Saying, "Hey Armin, Fox News contributor and former CENTCOM Vice Commander Admiral Robert Harward was on Newsmax flexing in Persian with Dr. Shayla Nazarian. So cool. Maybe he might come here and do the same." Oh wow, guys, that would be amazing. That would be, we would love to, right? Yeah, we should reach out, huh, Goldie? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Guys, just let them know about us. Also, I don't know if that's possible, but let me know if it's possible. If anybody could connect us, maybe I could also have him on the Persian channel and just speak Persian on the Persian channel.
That would be really
So
cool.
that Goldie, we should have you on the Persian channel one
I'll
day.
come at some point. I'll come at some
Yeah,
point.
okay.
I have
Yes.
my own, projects and things that I'm also working on as well. So my time is a little bit limited.
I know. but one day, okay? Okay,
Yeah,
promise.
one day.
Pinky promise here. Pinky promise. There you go. Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, if you could connect us, like message them, or if you have any connections with them, just message them and introduce them to us. My email is on my X. Okay, so if you go to my X account, my email is in the bio. So just look for me on X and just find my email over there. And then we got another super chat by Indian Bush Flower. Indian Bush Flower. Thank you so much for the super chat, saying Trump will end the IRGC, but before he opens the strait, he wants Europe to suffer a bit too for not helping. What I think is if you replace Europe with the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, I think that's what I think is happening more. I think that is what's happening more. I think President Trump wants to use the threat of the Islamic Republic against. I mean, what you're saying is somewhat more true as well, because so President Trump wants basically all the countries that are allies of the United States to become a bit more self-reliant, right? So instead of the United States coming and doing their security job for them, President Trump wants all of these countries, European countries, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, all of these countries to Ukraine to become more self-reliant. It's basically what I think is that President Trump is removing the training wheels on these countries, because too much reliance on U.S. security makes you weak, makes your military industry not developed enough. And I think that President Trump is basically trying to encourage these countries to stand on their own and not only become better at defending themselves, but also turn into better allies of the United States. Yeah, they're vulnerable without the United States, and that's not good. It's not good I think President Trump is showing some of these countries some tough love. That's what's happening, some tough love. Basically, letting them hurt a little bit so that they become more self-reliant on their security. And I think right now that is the most true for the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf. And President Trump is like, listen, this is not my neighborhood. This is your neighborhood. And the only other security umbrella that you could go under that is not the United States is Israel. China is not going to be a good alternative to me. Russia is not going to be a good alternative to me. Israel is a good alternative to me. And it's the superpower of this region. So you better go under the security umbrella of Israel. And I'm going to check out at some point. So this is actually good, because President Trump is doing the responsible thing. Instead of quitting on the Middle East and be like, you're on your own now, He's like, listen, I want to leave here, but I want to make sure that you guys are good before I go. Right? So you guys better, kiss and make up with Israel before I go here, so you guys could basically keep the region stable without me here, right? Yes. So, what do you guys think about that analysis? That's what I think is happening. This is the Dunro doctrine. Okay, let's go to the next super chat. We have, I don't know how to pronounce that. Daofei. I'm going to say Daofei. Daofei or Taofei saying Trump said, likely have to. He and Bibi are in cahoots. Trump has the Trump has the laser pointer at IRGC. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go back. I don't know what's happening to me. Trump has the laser pointer at and IRGC are jumping at the red dot. Bibi is reacting to unceasefire-ish attacks. I like that, unceasefire-ish attacks. While Trump asks him to behave. Asks. LOL. Yep. Okay. So if this is a mind game, this is exactly how it's being played out. Okay. If this is all a mind game. But here's the thing, though. It would be so amazing if the Islamic Republic falls for this a third time. Because if this is a mind game, we have already been here right before Operation Midnight Hammer, right before Operation Epic Fury, and we're doing this again. So the Islamic Republic, I mean, if we think that, how is it that the Islamic Republic is not seeing that, right? Do you think that they will fall for it the third time? I mean, they might, to be fair. Also, why? I mean, if Mushtaba's already, we know where Mushtaba again. Yeah, the mind game is not just so. If this is mind games, I think the mind games is not just necessarily for the Islamic Republic, because the Islamic Republic, unlike what many people think, they're not as retarded. They do have retarded followers, so they need to do retarded things as a way to keep their retarded followers happy. But they see what we see, and they also see all the analysis that is out there that we see as well. So they know what the options are and what could be happening, right? Trust me, their survival depends on it. So they're consuming all of this, right? So I think if this is mind games, the target audience is not just the IRGC. I think if this is mind games, the target audience is also the internal politics of Israel and United States for the sake of the elections. As a way to, if this is mind games, it also is supposed, if it is mind games, it's supposed to also give Bibi the opportunity to defy Trump, to show the Israeli voter base that Israel does what Israel needs to do. Okay, so we'll see if that happens. And for United States, for its internal politics, especially to the ISO cucks, that actually, like, Israel doesn't control what we do, and United States has full control over what happens in the Middle East, right? Let me know what you think. And then, thank you, by the way, Dao Fei, for the super chat. And then we have another super chat by Casey. Thank you so much, Casey, saying at the end of the Meet the Press, he gets mad at her. Yes, I saw he walked out. It wasn't about Iran-related stuff, but President Trump walks out of the lady with the big eyes, the big eye lady. What's her name? But she asked a question. I forgot what it was. It wasn't Iran-related. And President Trump just like, I'm done. And I think he walks out. Doesn't he walk out? Yeah. Okay. So, Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, thank you, Armin and Goldie, for keeping me grounded as I really want to go off on President Trump as one of his voters. Yeah, well, that's good, guys. That's good. I appreciate you. So good. I'm glad that we have that effect on you. By the way, guys, I know there's a lot of disagreements on this. Today in we have in our discussion group, The call is open to everybody, so it's free for joining the discussion group today. So if you want to come and give us your understanding of what's happening or disagree with our understanding of what's happening, come to the discussion group and tell us there. We could turn it into a debate session, a friendly debate session. And we also gonna live stream it. We're gonna go live there in about 18 minutes, and it will be live streamed on the Liberty Politics YouTube channel as well. So if you want to come watch the debate and the discussions there, and different people with different takes, you could either watch it on Liberty Politics or come to our discussion group and just add your voice. And yeah. So guys, just if you're coming for a debate but to the discussion, just please keep it friendly, okay? And don't insult the people who disagree with you, okay? And don't make it seem like your take is like obviously true and everybody who has the other take is being retarded, okay? So just be respectful and just give your case, give your perspective, and be respectful to the other people who have a different take. So Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, for the love of God, read the post from Texas. Well, I mean, which one? That was from a while ago. You should have just written what she said. You should have written what she said. This was how do I find it now? Can you tell me what she said? Sorry, I don't. It's hard to keep track of everything, guys. I'm not ignoring you. I promise I'm not ignoring you. Oh, here, let me see. Texas is saying, too many people are missing the key piece that the IDF and CENTCOM work together on the boom booms. Yeah, I mean, the IDF always, when they do military operations, there's always a level of collaboration between United States and Israel in military operation. That's well, and it's always to different degrees, but it's always there. It's always there for sure, and that's a good thing to remember for sure. Okay, there you go, Fleshy. I read it. Not last night? Okay. Not last night was completely no last night. Not last night or no last night? They literally collapsed. Okay. Yeah, United States is not gonna, even if there are political disagreements or not, or it's fake, militarily, United States is not gonna abandon Israel. We know that. And let me see. Isabel, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Saying, love you, Goldie and Armin. I have a Durka question. Oh, good. I love the Durka questions. How do you see the impact of upcoming religious Shia events that will happen soon, Muharram, on regime supporters? I'm afraid it could unite them more. Well, here's the thing, Isabel. The Shia calendar has basically annual events on the Islamic calendar all the goddamn time. Like, there are so many. Like, think about this: the Shia ideology has 12 imams, and so we already have 24 days when they were born and then when they died, right? And there are so many different points on the calendar which is significant for the Shia, for Shias, that it's not that each one of them. I mean, they do use it as a way to build their narratives and cause some unity, but they do it so many times that each one of them is not really going to have that much of an impact. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just all over the calendar. Like, when I was in Iran, I remember there was one Shia event on the calendar, and then a few days next, it was just the next one, and then it was the next one, it's the next one. So it's just something that happens so many times that yeah, you're right that it will help them because they use them to their full advantage, but it's not as big as you might think. It's just something so normal that happens all the time within Iran. Okay, and thank you for the super chat, by the way, Isabel. And then Sketch with another super chat saying, Islamic Republic and USA can't negotiate for parties they don't control. Perfectly said, perfectly summarized, completely agree. 100% true. I mean, that settles it right there. And then Sketch with another super chat saying, Goldie is your sister in arms, a dynamic duo I respect. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank Oh my god. Thank you, Sketch. That's so sweet. That's so beautiful. And then we got another super chat by Indian Bush. Oh, Indian. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't read that properly. There's an A there. I don't know how do I include that. I'm just going to ignore the age.
It's Indiana, the
Oh,
state of
Indiana.
Indiana.
Oh, like Indian, a bush
No,
flower.
it's Indiana bush flower.
Indiana.
So it's a bush
Okay,
flower
okay.
from
Indiana bush
Indiana.
flower. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm retarded sometimes. Okay. I don't know how to read. Indiana bush flower saying, "I was born and raised on planet Earth, but man decided to limit me to a cage." Goldie, what do you make of this?
Very poetic.
Very poetic. Okay, I disagree though. I think that if because of other, we are actually more free because of man. People, when we are born on planet Earth, we are born and we see that there's so many rules, so many limitations introduced by society to us, and we want to be free. Okay, as somebody who fights for liberty, I'm very much against overregulation, baseless rules, baseless taboos, baseless standards that limits us. However, I also recognize that without other men, the only freedom I would have is the freedom to die, right? Because man limits me, other humans limit me, but they also enable me. Like humans created all the infrastructure around me for me to be able to take advantage of, to live, to express myself, to do almost everything I do is built upon the infrastructure that other men have created for me. The fact that I get to talk to you is because of the internet that other men have created, right? The fact that I don't have to go and spend all of my time hunting and gathering is because of everything that civilization has offered. I get to do other things because of everything that man has created. So yeah, man limits us. Sometimes we feel like we're in cage, but the cage of nature. Oh, this is what Indiana bushflower. The cage of nature is more limiting than the cage of man. So man limits you, but nature limits you even more. So humans add some chains to you, but they also break chains. They break the chains of nature. If there were no man and you were left alone in nature, you wouldn't be able to do much of what you do. So man enables man you to be free as well, right? The cage of nature is more limiting than the cage of man. By controlling nature, we get to do more. So there we go. And let's go to the next super chat. So Casey with a super chat saying he also called her a stupid liberal. Oh my god, that was pretty intense. Did her eyes get even bigger? Like, because if she's like always in a state of shock, I wonder, like, what did she start looking like when President Trump started to get angry with her and walked out and called her a stupid liberal? Like, could you get even more shocked? Like, I don't know. There was no more room to get more shock. Oh my god. So yeah, I should actually go see what does a permanently shocked face look like when you actually get shocked. And thank you, Casey, for that super chat. And then, oh no, guys, Goldie's gonna think we're weird.
Oh my god.
Stop it with sugar diamonds. No, the ants, guys.
Is that like a weird way of saying sugar daddy? What's going on here?
No, it's not sexual or anything like that. It's just a childhood hobby I used to have. But
about sugar diamonds. Okay. Cool.
No, it's about ants. It's about ants.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I'll just tell you, it's not a bad. Okay, so when I was a kid, in my garden, in my backyard, I would go put sugar into the dirt, and I would plant beans to create like this artificial I had all of these ants, and I pretended like they are miners, right? And I will make the sugars look like diamonds, and I will put them into the dirt. I will make mountains. I created a river. I created a forest with these beans that I planted, and these ants will come into the dirt, and they would pick up the sugar bits, and take it out. And I will pretend that this is a mine, and they're mining for diamonds, right? That was my
Oh, that's so
game.
cute.
Yeah. But one day we got invaded. One day I came, like I had everything ready. I came with more sugar cubes to make this whole thing. Like I had a plan to add like a new section with like the river going there and everything. And I came and I saw these red ants had invaded, and they were killing all the black ants, and they were tearing them apart and killing them. And it was like a whole war scene. And I was just sitting there and watching it. I'm like, oh my God, this is war. Our mine is being invaded. And I was watching a war happening in real time. And I didn't know that the red ants just leave. But I was like, oh my God, this is devastating to my mining operation. My entire workforce is being eaten alive. But I was like, it's okay. I was like, okay, it's okay, because maybe the red ants will stay and they will be the new miners. But then after they killed my entire workforce, they just left. And the next day, but there was nobody there, so I just abandoned the plan. So that's what happened. Wow. Yeah, Shia ants.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys. So yeah, I was a weirdo when I was a kid. And thank you. And then we have. How do you pronounce? Oh, Hannah. Oh, Hannah speaks.
Oh, Hannah speaks.
Oh, Hannah speaks. Oh, Hannah speaks. Thank you so much for the super chat, saying love your channel. You keep me so informed about everything Iran. Well, thank you, Anna. Praying for your safety and voice. I'm sharing your message with everyone who will listen. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you doing that. When do you all sleep? That's okay. Oh my God. Much love.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I can probably tell you that the vast majority of Iranians haven't really been sleeping since all of this began, right? We're just constantly like checking our phones and monitoring, and yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Armin, when do you sleep?
You know what? I actually managed to get my, I used to sleep 9 hours a day, but now I'm sleeping 6 hours, which is the minimum. But I get this. I try to make sure I at least get the 6 hours.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Because I think we need to stay healthy to be able to continue do what we're doing. I'm cutting on everything else. Like I'm cutting on entertainment. I'm cutting on everything else, but I'm trying to cut on. I'm trying not to cut on sleep. I'm not cutting exercise. I'm not cutting sleep, but I'm basically cutting everything else. So I'm either working, sleeping, or exercising. Honestly, even when I'm exercising, I'm working because I'm listening to content, getting updated on the news. But yeah. So yeah, somehow I tried to make it work. But thank you for caring, and thank you for spreading the message. Oh my God, we have to go soon. So okay, let's go through the rest of the. Oh, Christian Evan Christensen, our Norway reporter. So saying, Armin, who has been in the army? Goldie, who may have eaten a lollipop. You good? Okay. Oh wait, no, sorry. Let me read that again. Armin, who has been in the army. Goldie, who have eaten a lollipop. You good? Okay. So Armin, army, Goldie, lollipop. Okay, that's good. What do Iranians think of Tajikistan? Feel my connection? Yes, I feel your connection for sure. Okay, so the Iranian people, when they learn about Tajikistan, they admire Tajikistan and they get jealous of Tajikistan. Okay, because Tajikistan has gone on full-on Persian culture, obsession mode with at the level that the Iranian people would wish that they had in Iran, right? So Tajikistan, they speak Persian, but they also publicly celebrate and in a way many of the ancient Persian ceremonies and traditions are not only celebrated by the people there, but it's also state funded and state supported. So a lot of Iranian people see that and they say that we wish we had that there. And there's also obviously a connection, a historical connection between the Iranian people and Tajik people. I do think that the Tajik government made a lot of Iranian people upset over their reaction to the Islamic Republic massacre upon the people. I think that they didn't appreciate Tajikistan government stances on that. But yeah, they speak Persian, we speak Persian, so there's a connection there. They have admiration for the Ferdowsi and Shahnameh and stuff like that. So there's a deep connection there, a connection that a lot of Iranian people might not be aware of, but the more they become aware of it, the more they appreciate that. Like the Nowruz celebration in Tajikistan is something that when the Iranian people see, they get jealous of because they can't have the same thing inside Iran. Sorry, Goldie, you said something?
I was going to say, yeah, like the Nowruz celebration in Tajikistan is so beautiful.
Yeah. One day, and when Iranian people see that in Tajikistan, they think like one day we're going to have something like that inside Iran. And then Yail Bar. Did I read that right, Goldie? Yail Bar. Thank you so much for the super chat saying from Jerusalem to all out there that doubt the process, loose lips sink ships. Oh, okay. Yes, loose lips sink ships. It is only human nature that is demanding details. Many could not even handle the truth of what is really going on. Shalom. Okay, so that's a good point. We want to know. We want to pretend that we are certain about what's happening, but we can never know for sure. And they are not going to be able to tell us what is happening. Okay, so things are not clear, and we should be comfortable with that. It's okay to not know. Like we have to understand that there's a good reason for why we are not told everything, and it is the way it is. We should just keep fighting and do our part, whatever we think is happening behind the scenes. What we can do is keep fighting against evil, regardless of what the outside factors are. At the end of the day, we don't have control over those factors, right? We have control over what we can do, and what we can do is fight. Good reminder. Thank you so much. Thomas is saying, since the IRGC is now, thank you, by the way, for the super chat, Thomas, saying, since the IRGC is now composed of a bunch of splinter groups, the official ceasefire allows us to sit back and see which elements are the most aggressive and respond to those specifically. Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting point. I do have to add though that the IRGC during the ceasefire managed to get a little bit more united. Some of that original chaos is still there, but it's not as much as the beginning where so many of the IRGC leaders died. Usually you have so much more chaos at the beginning, but at some point it will become very clear who's the real leader, and everybody will get behind, like most people will get behind that person. But one thing to note is that we will go back to the full chaos mode again, and the infighting and basically the splinter groups doing their own thing as soon as Vahidi and Jafari are killed, which hopefully will be done soon. But you are right. The best way, and I'm pretty sure that the Mossad and CIA and all the other intelligence agencies in these countries have taken full advantage of gathering as much intelligence as needed to know who's in charge of what where, by observing what's happening underground inside Iran. And Mossad, as you guys know, has infiltration at the highest levels of the Islamic Republic. So Mossad has very good information regarding what's happening within the internal politics of the Islamic Republic. Guys, it's actually insane. Mossad has so much intelligence within the Islamic Republic that sometimes the Israelis hear what the Americans and the Islamic Republic are discussing from their own agents within the Islamic Republic before they learn it from the Americans. So Americans have sometimes admitted that we were shocked that that the Israelis knew something before we shared it to them, because they were already within the regime of the Islamic Republic and they already heard it. So that is pretty impressive, by the way. That is really impressive that they have that. All right, guys. I am gonna. Oh, wait, we got another super chat. Super chat mode. Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat saying, "Where's Bonnie? He's our boy, our boy." Yes, he's in Iraq. Last time I checked, I don't know if he's back home or not. He's in Iraq, managing, trying to figure out how to keep the Iraqi militias of the Islamic Republic in line. Did he come back home, or is he still there? I think a lot of the attacks on Kuwait and less to Saudi Arabia, but Kuwait, some of them are supposed to happen from Iraq, and I think Khani is trying to manage all of that. But I mean, he's trying to manage all that. Unless he's our boy, obviously, then he's not. He's pretending to try to do that. We'll see. But yes, he's our boy. All right, guys, let's go back. No more super chats. I have to go to the discussion group. Thank you for the support. All right, guys, look at this. This is our discussion group. I'm going to be there 3 minutes in the past. Yes, I was supposed to be there 3 minutes ago, but I am going to go there now. We're going to have a group call. And just come join us there. Today is free. It's free. It's open. Anybody can come and join. So the link is in the chat. The link is in the QR code at the top right of your screen. The link is in the bio of Liberty Politics YouTube channel. Also, we're going to stream the discussion on Liberty Politics YouTube channel. So either come to the group call and talk to us, or just go watch our group call on Liberty Politics YouTube channel right now, which I'm going to go set it up pretty fast. And Goldie, what are you doing today?
Working on a few things and then going live later this evening.
Guys, make sure you have your bell notification on for Goldie's channel, for both channels, for Goldie's channels and Liberty Politics, so that YouTube tells you when we go live. And yep, so see you guys in a few seconds. See Goldie later today, and see you on Iran Revolution Live later, same time tomorrow. And until then,
guys, Nova Peach song today, because I have to go right away, so I can't stick around to play the song, but I'll play it for you guys next time, I promise. So until then,
okay. Right. I'm Israel Chai. Long live America.
God bless America.
Javicha.
Payande. Iran.
Iran.
See you guys
See you guys
later.